Good morning from a slightly chilly Timbavati Game Reserve. We are here for another episode of Tundatula's Sofa Safaris. We are kickstarting things. I don't know if you can see him lying fat-bellied over there, but we have roaring lions. So yeah, Mr. Shisuanamal Leopard, he's got his impala killed angled up in this marula here. And just what we were kind of hoping for. We say these lions never give us any clues as to where they are in the mornings, and that's why it's given us a run around for the last 4 sofa safaris. But they have been roaring at around 7 o'clock, and we're a little bit before 7, and they are roaring to our east, 2 of the males. So we'll spend some time with this leopard, and then we'll go look for those lions. I believe the elephants have been the only thing on offer lately, which is great. It's just what we said would happen, but we'll try add some diversity to today's episode. So come along for the ride, and let's see what this chilly morning has to bring. I'm just admiring Brittany's new toy. Hopefully this is going to give you a smoother video while we're driving. We've decided to leave that leopard. He is quite out of it, fast asleep. He's not going anywhere because he's got his kill. And these lions are roaring quite a bit, so we're going to go look for them first. They're roaring around Eagle Owl Plains, and then we'll come back to the leopard. I'm hoping that with a cool night like we had, that they're just going to be basking in the sun in the open. They'll give us a good view. So let's go see if we can find them. So we've arrived at Eagle Owl Plains, in the general area where these lions are roaring. So my lion spot is going to keep her eyes open to find them. So we're just going to be sitting here for a little bit here with these lions roar again, although Foreman is expecting me to cut myself in 2 now because he's just radioed to say that there's wild dogs at the dam at the camp. So we've got them, we've got the leopard with the kill, and now these lions, and it's been 20 minutes of game drive. So we're going to just see if we can find these lions first, and if no joy, we'll try for the dogs. We are still just scouting these open areas for these lions, but as yet, no joy. Foreman has found those wild dogs, so we're in a bit of a pickle. Do we go for the dogs, or do we carry on and search for these lions? We're going to keep on trying for the lions for a little while, and if no luck, go for those dogs. We're still looking for lions. A lot of general game in this area: zebras, impalas, giraffe, and none of them seem alert, none of them seem stressed. So I'm not sure. I feel a bit disorientated with the sun this morning from where I took my first bearing of where these lions are roaring to, and we got there, things just seemed wrong. So kind of just driving and hoping. Now there's no tracks that I've found yet. Another zebra coming into frame, and a wildebeest, and a message. Shows the autumn colours coming through there. All the reds and oranges and greens mixed together in these little Mopani woodlands. Have had them appearing before. That's just a pair of Corey bustards. Walking through the grasslands here. Terrible version of the Spice Girls song, when 2 become 1. Here 2 have become 3. I guess that would be the opposite of the Spice Girls song. But anyway, yeah, it's 3 Corey bustards walking around. It bears repeating, they are the heaviest flying bird in the world. The males that are walking around here, on average, would be around 15 kilograms. But records of up to 19 kilograms, which would make them heavier than the Andean condor. Luck might have run out with the lions on sofa safaris, but it's starting with Steenbeek. That's 2 episodes in a row now that these little guys have shown themselves. Once again, you may notice on their own, that is just the way that they live. Actually, they live in bonded pairs, a male and female that are monogamous with one another, but they spend most of their time separately, wandering around, and again, their best defense is to avoid the attention of others, of predators, by staying alone and staying unnoticed. If there's a whole herd of them trying to stand still and avoid attention, it's going to kind of defeat the purpose. But by moving around on their own, they can quite easily be overlooked, just like that. So after more than an hour and a half of driving around looking for those phantom lions, if you want to see lions, just check out my solo safaris because they still appear there, just evidently not in sofa safaris. But when chasing them, then I heard a leopard calling by Mashutton Dam, went there, couldn't find anything, and we eventually decided just to come back and check on Shisiwana. Fortunately, it doesn't look as though we've missed much. He's moved about 15 meters from where we left him originally, but very much in the same state he was earlier. Nice rounded belly and just sleeping off, enjoying life at the top of the food chain. For people that have been here and followed these virtual safaris, you're very familiar with the story of Shisiwana, his sister Marula Jr., and the fact that they lost their mom when they were about 10 months old. And it is just incredible to see how they have adapted and managed to get to this point. Now, it's as I say, last week we had Marula Jr. with an impala kill up a tree. Now we've got Shisiwana again, and they've got through the tough times after their mom passed away by catching small things. They were going for scrub hares, dwarf mongooses, birds, and just, not eating big meals, but eating enough to keep alive. And then I think what the timing was, if you could have chosen a time to lose your mom at an age that you were going to lose, it probably would have been then, because then they would have had the abundance of baby impalas coming in end of November, December, into early January. And from then, that got them bigger, honed their skills a little bit more, and now they're both doing incredibly well, catching regular big meals like this. And also impressive to know that they've also learned the art of hoisting. Strangely, although hunting is instinctive, it's something they teach themselves. They would have been teaching themselves to hunt even if Marula was still alive. The thing that they do need to get taught, because it's not instinctive, is hoisting their kills up into trees. Luckily, in the 10 months that they were with her, they obviously saw this behavior enough to learn it and know that this is how they've got to keep their kills safe from scavengers. And a perfect example, and he's pretty good. He does tend to choose pretty good trees to hoist his kills into. Some of our other leopards could learn a lesson from him. So there's some dwarf mongooses that are emerging from the relative safety of their burrow, which is an old abandoned termite mound. At the moment they are popping in and out of view because they're actually all sitting on the eastward facing side of the mound, just trying to get that first bit of sunlight. Can help warm their body and require less energy if the sun's doing it rather than generating your own internal body heat. As soon as they're warm, they're going to start scurrying about looking for their day's calorie intake. Perhaps when they do that, that movement in the grass might alert Shisiwana to their presence, and although he really does not need a mongoose, it's going to do nothing for him in terms of his own calorie intake. The lure of trying to catch something is sometimes too great for these leopards, and they're very instinctive hunters. They hunt because something is there, not necessarily driven by hunger. I always say my best example of this was once finding a leopard with 4 kills hanging in one tree, 1 impala and 3 steenbok. And she spent about a week there, absolutely gorged herself, but ended up catching these things, again, not driven by hunger, but merely because one of them walked past and she thought, oh, let me go catch that. And it was just her week, not so much so for the steenbok. The regal prince has awoken from his sleep. Struggling to open his eyes, very much like I feel when I wake up in the morning. Scrap all of what we've been saying. Hello, Nyeleti. Yeah, anyway, now that this leopard is actually sat up, he is a she, and she is Nyeleti, not Shisiwana. It was Shisiwana last night, which tells me that he was likely just, oh, look at that, you want, likely just in this area trying to steal her kill. But now that the cat has actually lifted its head out of the grass, it is evidently not Shisiwana. So I wonder if he's still around. So a lot of people ask, how do we know these leopards? And I always tell them, so we spend enough time around watching them, we get to recognize individual faces. And here's a case in point. We arrived here, this was Shisiwana, sat up, I said, no, it's Nyeleti. And now that I've actually come around, I've realized that Nyeleti has a set of balls, because Nyeleti is not Nyeleti, it is actually, third time lucky, Hlangana. So clearly I don't know my leopards as well as I thought, but through a process of elimination, by basically going through all the leopards that we have here, I've narrowed it down to being the young Hlangana male, which would fully explain why he is here, not Shisiwana. He is a little older, and he would have probably chased Shisiwana away, even though they do know each other. So I doubt that Shisiwana's gone too far. He's probably milling around somewhere. Last time we saw Hlangana with a kill, Shisiwana was there. But yes, that that is it. The way we would normally do it is looking at the spot patterns, and I was looking at one side of the face, not both, and I'm just making excuses for how I managed to get it wrong. But in fairness, Hlangana young male was actually a female till he was about 11 months old. We kept referring to him as Ntombi's daughter, for those of you that followed the blog might remember, until one day a slightly more observant guide also looked under his tails and noticed that there was something growing there that shouldn't have been. But he has flopped back asleep now, probably tired of hearing us talking about wrong leopards. So we are going to carry on and see what else we can find this morning. But there we go, 3 leopards in one sighting, even if they're all the same one. Right, so we might not have had literally 3 leopards in one sighting there, but we have got 3 leopards for a drive. We've now come across Nyeleti and her cub. We'll have to see if it's male or female. First time in a few months we've got them. This is pretty remarkable. I mean, this leopard cub now been born around January, early January I think it was. Just trying to think when we first saw it. I'll have to double check, but call it 5 months old. Knew where the den site was when they were cubs. I saw them once or twice there. Actually very close to where we are now. Couple of sightings just before lockdown started, and then nothing. Not even a trace. So to be so poorly exposed to vehicles and to still be this calm and confident is, I kind of believe, proof that a lot of this behavior is genetically inherited from relaxed mothers. So yeah, Nyeleti the mom, she appeared. This is our very first leopard on Sofa Safaris. I think our only sightings for the first month were of her, and she was hanging around the camp. Had her cub hidden on the Sharalumi somewhere, but we just weren't seeing it. And then the lions had their cubs there, and their presence, I'm sure, is what caused her, as a good mother, to move this youngster away. There have been reports to the north of our boundary of her hanging around there. I think I've only heard one report of the cub being seen. So I was wondering if it was still alive, but as you can see, it is very much alive and well. I'm not even going to hazard a guess at the sex. Looking at the shape of the face and the size, I would say a young male, but seeing as it took me 3 goes to get the last leopard correctly identified, and as a adult it alternated between a male and female, I wouldn't take my word for it. But a gorgeous little guy or girl, a gorgeous thing, and sitting beautifully on the rock there, and just as comfortable as anything. There is a drag mark in the riverbed just to the left of the scene, and Nyeleti was looking quite well fed, so there is a possibility that she may have a kill here, or at least have finished a kill here. And you can see the way she's breathing, she's panting, which is often indicative of a full belly. But we'll see what they get up to. But for now, just some chill time. I'm sure in the early days of our sofa safaris you must have been thinking that we don't have leopards here, and kept on talking about looking for them, and we do have them. And it is very encouraging to see that they are starting to show themselves. The fact that I misidentified a leopard by 3 different ones that it could have been is a sign that, you know, there's definitely more than 1 or 2 here. Definitely the signs of some small testicles sticking out there. Right where she's standing now is actually where the drag mark comes down from. The ever vigilant mom doesn't want this curious youngster straying too far from her. But now this is a game for the youngster. He knows mom's going to come and he's going to pounce on her. Hear the soft contact call. I'm sure. In behaviour, keeping on bringing this youngster back, I'm sure there might still be a little bit of meat left here. Alright, so we have not been able to relocate Nyeleti and her kill. A little bit weird. She saw dragging it down into the river, but have not been able to find her on the other side. No doubt just dragged it into a thicket, and would expect that we would have heard the crunching of her or the cub feeding, but we've sat here now for quite a while without anything. But they're here, so definitely something worth following up on later. If I'm back in time, I will do a solo safari, so keep a lookout for those. But yeah, we didn't see elephants today, which is great, and we saw cats, so our mission was successful, albeit if it was not the lions. But hey, 3 leopards in 1 drive, I'm not going to complain about that, and I'm sure you are not going to either. So I hope you've enjoyed this one, and we will catch up with you all next time. Take care. Cheers.